Welcome to the Cowboys LA Radio. I am your host, Eric Trujillo, coming to you after what has been a different week. Um, Starting off with the election, I don't really like to talk politics, so the only thing I'm going to say is just like this Dallas Cowboys football team, we're a mixture of different races and different colors, and we should just, no matter what happens, always support each other, spread love, respect each other. No, it doesn't matter what color you are. That's what makes us different. That's what makes us the United States different. And no matter what your beliefs are or who you voted for, there's no room for hate. We all want to progress forward, and whatever that's going to be, as long as we stick together, we'll be okay. So that's my message. That's the only thing that I'm going to say, and move forward from that. Just like our team is a mixture of Jones and Garrett and Sanchez and Romo and Bryant and Dunbar and Elliott, and those guys are a family. That's the same way Cowboys Nation should be. We should never let color or political views separate us. We might have different opinions and different feelings about things, but we should never hate each other. And that's the only thing that I'm going to say about that. As I get back into some Cowboys football, debate is always going to be simmering, no matter what. Right now, within this team, there's a debate going on whether Dak Prescott should remain the QB or Tony Romo should, because he has been cleared and he has been running scout all week. But I don't know if that's a topic for today. I really don't, because it looks like Tony Romo is not going to be active for the game. He's still not going to be suited up. And it's going to be Sanchez still backing up Dak this weekend versus the Steelers. Now, the game is at 1:25, so wherever you're at in the U.S., it's the second game, it's the second slot. So that would put you at 3:25 in Texas and 4:25 out there on the East Coast. It's going to be at Heinz Field, and by looking at the tape, a couple of things. This is a talented team. It's a talented team. Whenever I prep for the game and every podcast, I never take a team lightly. So I'm never going to come on and say, hey, this is a game we should win. I'm just going to say these are the things we can do to win, and these are the things that can hurt us. And when I look at their team, they're a talented team. On the defensive side of the ball, they have a bunch of young guys. Jarvis Jones is still a young guy. Shazier's a talented young man. Artie Burns is a talented corner. Stephon Tuitt was someone that I wish the Cowboys would have looked at a couple of drafts back. So they have talent on that side of the ball, and then of course, they have Hayward, who would be their veteran, who is a good player. They still have Harrison, who still brings the pressure, if you could believe it or not. He doesn't start, but he's still a player that will bring it. That defense runs a 3-4. So statistically, they're only giving up about 99 yards per game. Average. The Pittsburgh D is giving up about 99 yards per game. We're gonna need for sure to eclipse that to win this game. They bring a lot of different exotic blitzes. They're gonna commit. They're really gonna commit and bring stuff that maybe we haven't seen all year long. Maybe Dak hasn't seen all year long, and it's gonna make it a tough battle. I think it's going to be a game very, very, very similar to the Eagles game as far as their defense and their offensive side. I don't think that their front is as strong as the Eagles' front was, but overall they have playmakers. They have speed with Shazier, with Jarvis Jones. Best thing probably for us to combat their speed is to just run straight at the outside linebackers, run off tackle, clamp their big boys in the middle and run off tackle, and I think we could eat up that way. The middle of the field is susceptible. When people did attack them, it really wasn't deep. The touchdown that Mike Wallace had last week was a slant down the middle that he took just straight speed. And I think we should definitely use Cole, use Dez, you even use Terrence Williams. He's very good at slants. And that's what we should attack the middle of the field. Keep it simple. Run off tackle, attack the middle of the field, keep them off balance with play action. The same theme that we've been doing. Control the clock, but do expect the Pittsburgh Steelers to sell out. They're gonna bring a lot of different things that maybe Dak hasn't seen. That's the thing that the 3-4 gives you. It has versatility. It's a little bit harder to identify who's coming, but it's also, I think, a defense that allows us to run the ball a little bit better because they're a little bit, when you look at it that way, the outside linebackers, they're a little bit lighter than your typical 4-3 DN would be. So I think that's an advantage for us. They haven't been too good at home, but they always come out. Their fans are going to come out, and you better believe the Cowboys Steelers rivalry is going to be in effect, and they're going to come out. I've seen a couple of people out there saying that they're going to be at the game. Cowboys Nation does travel, and I know that they will be there. Um, it's going to be interesting, and it's going to be fun. I think that's why we watch the game. I watch it because it's fun. It's not fun to lose. It's not. It's always better to win. But these challenges, it's like a game of chess. Who's going to play the right? Uh, who's going to do the right play at the right time? And I think this is where we're going to be even, where Coach Garrett has really been a good coach this year. He's been everything that I've wanted, gutsy and not always playing it safe, because in this game you have to take risks sometimes to win. And we're going up against a coach that does exactly that. Mike Tomlin is a great coach, and that's an equalizer. They have talent, and they have a great coach, and they have a great veteran QB. Now, getting into the veteran QB, I watched the game against the Ravens, and he's not okay. Just our luck, he's gonna end up being healthy. He's gonna end up being healthy on Sunday. But this past week he wasn't. He couldn't run around. He couldn't step into his throws. He couldn't step into his throws, and he was falling short, and he was overthrowing, and he wasn't Big Ben. He wasn't Big Ben, the Big Ben that people are used to seeing. He really wasn't. If we get that Big Ben, we have a very good chance of keeping him to our average right now. We're average. We're keeping teams under 20. We're keeping teams under 20. That's our season average. Their offensive average of scoring points is about 23 points a game. I think if we get that Big Ben, we're gonna keep them under 20. I believe that. I strongly believe that. But it's not gonna be easy. If we have the real Big Ben, the not injured Big Ben who can step into his throws, I think that they'll surpass that, and they'll be somewhere around 27 to 30 points. And that's not a knock against the Cowboys offense. I do think that Tomlin is a smart coach. And last week, I don't know if you noticed, but when the Browns decided that they were going to pass, they went down right down the field and scored. And then they really didn't stick to it in the second half. And then they tried to, but Cody Kessler wasn't really someone that could push it down the field. And I think other teams are going to see that. They're going to see that our weakest link is probably right now the passing game, with Barry Church and Mo Claiborne out. With them in, I think we're still very viable, but without them, it's a weakness, and good coaches attack that. So I'm ready to see them coming out firing. Antonio Brown is probably the best receiver in the league. There's a couple people that could fight him for that, Julio Jones and Odell Beckham Jr. And we might be seeing both those guys this year. Again, we are going to see OBJ, and we're probably going to see Julio Jones if we believe that we're heading to an NFC Championship, which I do believe, versus the Atlanta Falcons. This guy has nice routes. He's going to create separation. So if Ben's on his game, it can be one of those games. They can run screenplays to Le'Veon Bell, who's a talented player. I'll be honest with you, we have a better back on our side. As good as Le'Veon Bell is, he is not as good as Ezekiel Elliott. I promise you that. But he is very good. He's right behind him, and he has not had a very good season so far up to date. But the blocking isn't very good. They can pass block. That O-line can pass block fairly well, but their run game has suffered because their run blocking is not very efficient. It's not very good. And if we can stop them from running the ball with Le'Veon, then we have to be careful he loves to throw little swing passes to him, screen passes to Le'Veon. And like I said, he's like a receiver running back. He's similar to Zeke in that fashion. He just doesn't have that toughness, I think, to him. He's great back, great vision, good cuts, regular speed. I wouldn't say he's a ridiculously fast player. And then, Sammy Coates, and, they just have a plethora of receivers that can get it done. Marcus Wheaton. These guys can get open. So I think if they did their homework right and they looked and said, where can we attack this Cowboys team? It might be that. They probably want to get up on the board and score points to counter us being able to run the ball. When we get behind the sticks, it's hard for behind on the scoreboard. I mean, it's hard for us to run the rock. Got to pass. So I think the Mike Tomlin effect of being a great coach, having a vet QB, being at home, it's going to be a very tough game. If I had to say, I'm not going to count out against us. I think we've been steady and consistent. And if we get a off Big Ben, I think we win something around the score of 20, 27, 20, 30, something like that. If we get Big Ben fully ready to go, might be a shootout. Yeah. It might end up being something closer to 24, 27, 31, 30. Overtime. It's going to be a good game. It really is. I'm looking forward to it. Something to take the mind off of things that can go out that are going on around and right now. Just something to enjoy. But I didn't do the podcast on the Browns game because, that was a tough game to really talk about. It was really a tough game for me to prepare because when I was watching the tape, I mean, there was no way for me to say, hey, we should just run over this team. When I did the podcast preparing for that, there was not a lot of strategy. It was like, hey, you know what we need to do? We just run over this team, and that's what we did. I mean, Zeke didn't have a big day on the ground, but it was just constant Zeke first down, Zeke stretching out for a touchdown, and then the play action. Of course, once they started selling out to try to stop it, the play action allowed for us to get some good touchdowns, some great play calling too by Linehan with Cole Beasley on the goal line. Just everyone attracted to Dez and getting the easy touch to Cole. So it was a hard game for me to even break down, and we had a lot of things going on with the election. So I was just like, what can I tell you? We kicked their butts, and that's really what we should have done. We finally did what we should have done. The Cowboys always play down to competition, and they didn't in this situation. They didn't play down to the Browns' level of play, and I was so happy to see. It was good to see. Good teams don't do that. Good teams execute their game plan, and they don't allow anyone else to dictate the way that they're going to play. Excited for that game. I was excited to see Brown play. I was excited to see Scandrick play. Great games on behalf of those two, and even Brandon Carr. It was a really solid game for the D. I'm excited to see Anthony Hitchens. At the beginning, I was telling you, a couple of first podcasts, he was playing awful, but Anthony and Hitchens and Kevin Durant and Durant are doing very, very, very good splitting reps. I feel like them splitting it is allowing them to stay focused and have a coach say, "Hey, look out for this," and then send them out. And really, he's really stepped up his game. So my apologies to Anthony. I hope that he keeps it up. If we keep things going this way, we're really gonna have a chance. We're really gonna have a chance at a good run. Everybody wants to talk Zach Romo yet. I'm really not ready to get into that right now. I think I talked about that so much early on, speculation of when he'd come back, and I was off. I was wrong. I thought we would be 4-4 by the time he came back, and we're 7-1. So he was able to buy more time, which I think is great for Tony because he deserves that rest. The rest of the season looks like it. At least the next 3 games are tough games. None of these games are going to be easy. The Ravens can play now. I think that the Ravens are a better team than the Steelers. So these next couple of games here, we're going to see really what we're made of. Because everyone keeps saying this is the next challenge. Well, they're right. The next game is the next challenge. Day by day, day by day, week by week, game by game. Remember, the game is at 1:25 p.m. here on the West Coast. Enjoy the football game. It's going to be at Heinz Field. Look out for that 3-4 running off the tackles, and take a close look at Big Ben's feet in the beginning, and see what kind of Big Ben we're going to be getting if he's stepping into that, if he's standing strong in that pocket. Thank you for listening. This is the Cowboys LA Radio. I'm your host, Eric Trujillo. Have a great evening.